Do you ever look out into the vast sea of the universe? And challenge even your own imagination? You don't think we're alone, do you? When you hear that the government is doing something, you always believe it, don't you? We are your third eye. This is Chasing Prophecy. Challenging your beliefs and pushing the boundaries of your imagination. If it's unexplained, we're talking about it. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, we cover everything from political mayhem and tyranny to alien abductions and paranormal phenomena. You are not alone. This is the Chasing Prophecy radio program. And now your hosts, Jennie Nicasio and Shawn Kelly.
I like that.
Welcome to Chasing Prophecy on FM 105.3 in New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jennie Nicasio, along with my fabulous co-host, Shawn Kelly from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What does she want?
And we're on FM 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans and in Henderson Point. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and subscribe. We need you to subscribe because if you don't, we don't know you're actually out there watching. And I want you to watch because I think we're pretty cool. And we're on Roku devices, so tune in live across America and beyond into the universe.
Oh, Lord.
We look forward to hearing from you in the chat. So make sure you chat with us tonight because, you know, we could be time travelers or interdimensional creatures from a multi-portals and all across the universe and beyond. But I have my crown on because I am the queen of UFO Paranormal Network.
I'm not going to bow either.
No, well, you should because you're in the presence of royalty. And I must say, I'm rather shaking my lovely crown with my jewels because it's my birthday week and I am celebrating. So if you're listening, guys, I want you to wish me happy birthday. Hello, Anthony. Michael, Anthony. I like that. I used to be a restaurant in my old crony. It was called Michael Anthony's, and it was an Italian place. Anyways, I have some very sad news today. Well, depressing. It's not sad. It is sad because our guest, Thomas Reed. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, Tony. Good to see you, buddy.
He is in oh, what's that? Okay.
Anthony.
We just have a time traveler. No, he called me like 2 minutes before the show started and said, "Thank you, Anthony, for the birthday wish." He cannot be with us tonight, so he's going to be with us next week. There's a problem. He's at the UFO convention with all the big topic, people from the UFO world, like Mike Barra. Thank you. I am the queen. He called. He is in New Mexico, Roswell, for the UFO convention, and he has a big mess up with an order. I guess he's selling something over there. He said he's going to talk about it next week, so we'll see.
Cool.
But we're going to still talk about it because I did so much research on the Berkshire UFO incident. I am very professional. I have my notes in front of me. But before we get busy, I want to make sure you guys share this link. That goes for you, Shawn. Share the link. We want to know. We only have a couple people in the audience right now on Facebook and YouTube. But remember, we are on a FM radio station. Hey, guys in New Orleans, we love you. We love you across America too on SoundCloud. So if you're listening on SoundCloud tomorrow after this is uploaded, right, Shawn?
Yes, ma'am. He'll upload it in the morning,
Yeah,
and you
we're
can
gonna.
hear
Oh,
us forever.
yeah, yeah. He does it in New Orleans and in Henderson Point. So, but we have people listening in New Orleans right now. So, hello.
I want what you have. Send it my way.
Well, it's my birthday week.
Okay, it's
I
not mine.
mean, and I had 2 cups of coffee today because my lovely daughter-in-law told me, "Oh, I like when you're drinking coffee. You have so much energy." Oh yeah, I have so much energy tonight. But I want to make sure I share this link. So, Shawn, you tell us what's going on in your speck of the world.
Oh, oh, what's going on in my speck of the world? I want to welcome Michael Anthony and my friend and Anthony to the show. Anthony says you're turning 29, but in my neck of the woods, really nothing major. It is a full moon, and I had
That's what it is, Shawn. It's a
yes,
full moon. Why am I
it's a
acting
full moon,
psychotic?
and I have been dealing with the crazies today at
That's
work.
probably why I'm psychotic right now. It's a full
That's
moon.
okay,
Joe,
but
baby, you're gonna come on the show with us tonight because our guest canceled on us. You're more
there
than
he
welcome.
is.
Oh, what
Hey,
happened? What do you mean
Everybody,
you
Joe
just cancer?
Montaldo.
yeah, he's the station owner.
And
Yeah,
he's the
Joe.
one and only Joe
Got-
Montaldo.
We're gonna need you because our guest called an emergency off because he's having issues in Roswell. He's at the Roswell convention, and apparently they messed up his order for stuff that he was selling. I guess I don't know for sure.
When the Roswell Convention, he said, when is we in March, right? Well,
Yes,
Yeah,
Michael, it is a huge moon. It's a big
yeah.
moon.
He's there, and he was going to do the show tonight. But
Uncle,
he canceled for till next week.
Uncle Tommy Reed, yeah, he's bad. He's a bad boy, man. Ooh, he's bad.
Why is he bad?
He's bad.
I want to know
I
why he's
can't say
bad.
because we're live. I can't be
Hey,
telling
Oh
you
Joe,
because we're live.
no, my
Joe,
crown
before
is
we
getting
go
crooked.
on, Joe,
we already on.
you have to wish Jenny a happy birthday.
Happy birthday. What are you, like
It's
35 now?
technically not till Thursday, but
Well,
I
happy
celebrate
early birthday.
the whole
I
week.
do too. I celebrate the whole month, really.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, look, it's time.
Do you
man.
like my crown?
It's I can't see it out. Wait, you know what? I need
Oh
something's
my
weird on
God!
this
What do you mean you
computer.
can't see my crown? It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I
I
can
have
see it.
little
Yeah, it looks
gems
cool
that,
now.
although
No, I
there's
had the little live button was in front of you for a minute.
yeah, my number 5 is on.
Yeah, it was like, no, it looks cool up there.
I
You
know
hang
it
it
is.
out. I see the backdrop looks good down there.
Oh
That
yeah.
bites no guess. Yeah, I was just stopping by. I was gonna. I'll have to tell you after the show now, but I got some Roku numbers in today for it finally.
Oh
Roku numbers.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
I can tell you this: our average listening time is 59.55 minutes. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah, that is good.
That's
That is
good. Yeah, that's above average for anybody right now. So average usually is around 33 minutes, 34 minutes. We do some pretty ones now on SoundCloud. I was a little bit higher than that. On YouTube it is too. It's about an hour and a half. But
Oh, that's good.
well, because we got interesting topics most of the time, or insane host doing something that people can't turn the thing from. They're like, wow, I can't
Yeah.
change it. You know, it's like watching the train wreck going down the highway.
Oh no.
Yes, you just got to sit there and kind of watch it and move. So wait, aren't you? Are we done with the chemicals? No more chemicals going to get on y'all now. We're done.
Oh
with,
no. I don't know.
I don't know
but
about that.
I'm not
It's still
sure.
scary. I don't trust them.
Oh, they
well, I
changed
haven't heard
it.
anything.
Well, you know what? Our governor was in the paper today. Our governor said that Norfolk Southern is going to come up with was it $7 million or $7 billion to help
Yeah,
the people in
Well, they
our
should.
area. Yeah,
Well, they
They
need to do
should.
something. That place is a mess. I was talking to a reporter the other day about it, and he was saying he didn't feel comfortable. He said every time somebody would cut the grass or like around the tracks where they were pulling the stuff up, he said your eyes would start watering and stuff. He said, you know, every time they move something around, it's getting right back in the air, right back into the ground and the water system. And I was like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't
my
know.
kids got water filtration systems because we don't know what's in the water, and you know what, they keep telling you one thing and then they change their mind. And what is with our lovely leader? Did he ever say he was going to go there or not?
No, but he was on Anderson Cooper the other night and said he has been abducted by aliens.
Michael, Mark Jaycock, maybe you can answer this here for us there, Joe. Mark Jaycock says 2 questions. Who lands the craft at Kecksburg, PA, December 9th, 1965, and why have you never asked?
It's the Russians.
And then what UFO is the only one in history to make the USAF arm nukes on B-52s?
There's actually been more than one actually that we scrambled for now. There was a flying triangle that came through Belgium that we sent up 2 squadrons of F-16s for. And at first, the F-16s were being rebuffed by, there was no way they could shoot it. None of their weapons would work. And then the thing took a hard bank and was headed straight for D.C. We actually scrambled several bombers. Actually, we scrambled a submarine, a few other things. But we went on nuke standby because that's the only thing we figured could take it down was a nuke. And then it just disappeared somewhere over the Atlantic, just like faded out to dust. You could watch it on the radar. They still had the radar. They're never going to give it to us, but it was like doing this weird pulse and it just fade out. And it was the first UFO I can ever remember that they clocked on UFO on radar. Because usually they don't show up on radar. It's not something that shows up on radar. Not often anyway. It's and then of course Kecksburg. I don't know what the hell I thought Kecksburg was. It was not alien people.
No, it wasn't. It was a satellite from Russia. That's according to John Ventry. Yeah. He said it was a Russian satellite.
Yeah, and everything everybody I talked to in the military, everybody I talked to in the government said the same thing. No, it was a Russian satellite. He said, but Joe, we couldn't give it up. I mean, alien spacecraft. He said it was a great cover, man. He said still is a great cover, and it works. I mean, there's lots of things out there. And there's lots of UFOs that fly from about mid-Texas. You go mid-Texas, you go backwards to New Mexico, through the middle of New Mexico, middle of Arizona, middle of Nevada, Southern California. These are all no-fly zones that the military used for lots of different things, like Area 51, bombing derbies, Area 53, Laughlin, where we have bombing derbies at, White Sands, Nevada, White Sands in White Sands in New Mexico. So the thing of it is we have all these areas that we use for all kind of weird testing, and there's supposedly anything can fly through there as long as it's military related. If you see anything in those areas and it's some kind of weird looking craft, odds are it belongs to the military. There was a senator way back. God, this goes way back. Senator McDonald was driving through New Mexico and he saw a black triangle. He's an incumbent at the time. Matter of fact, in charge of appropriations for military projects, and had no idea what. So when he contacted the organization, we wrote him back and it was basically like, look, dude, this is what it is. And it took him 6 months and he verified it back to us that yes, that's what it was. This man was so pissed off that he had to go outside of the military to find out what the project was. And he was also surprised how many people out there, huh?
Excuse me. Boots says, how does someone call in? There's a number going along. Right. I don't know what the hell you call it. The ticker note, whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a ticker. You got it, man. First time. It's a ticker. Okay. It's a tickly ticker, man.
Okay, hold on. There's a number there. 1-724-623-2296. Give us a call.
That's the number you call in. And I have says cannot be dialed. Why? I'm having an issue.
Well, it happens every Tuesday.
Y'all have only got me till Roku finishes uploading, then I got to go back to work. But
okay, not a problem.
No, I might come back and see y'all if it gets done anyway. I'm not doing that. I'm in studio with y'all. I'm just got shit going on. Okay. I love this new batch feature on this Roku thing, so I can upload a bunch of it at the same time. And since I thinned it out and took all the old stuff off there, it's just us Roku people up there.
Would you like to tell our subscribers, Joe, about how to subscribe to Roku, for us?
Well, if you have the Roku device or you have it on your computer, just go to Roku, pop on, type in UFO Paranormal Radio or United Public Radio, and it will come up. Usually it comes up just UFOP for me. Anywhere I type in anybody's house, I type in UFOP and it comes right up. And you can find us that way. There's also links on it. Will be on all of our Facebook pages, so they'll be going up tonight. So you can click a link and find us like that. Pretty soon, we're working on some details. Michelle and I on. So some of the shows on the station are going to get their sub channel for a while. It's just an experiment we're doing, but they'll have a sub channel. So like, y'all will be in the variety, and then somewhere down the list it'll say Chasing Prophecy with just your videos in it,
Okay.
and nobody else's. So it's just something we're trying out, playing with, seeing how it works, because the variety works great, and the paranormal and the YAP and the UFO thing works great, but it's nice to have the shows separate too. It also tells me what they're listening to, what they prefer to listen to, whose lovely face like Shawn's they want to hear and stuff like that. Shawn was voted cutest face on the network, Jenny. We're all in trouble. I was like, really?
I'm I'm it, man.
I was like, who the hell put this vote up, man? I was like, this is not working for me. So I'm going to take this poll down and see what's going on. Yeah, you noticed it said cutest face. It was not male or female, just cutest face on the network.
Yeah. Okay, Mark J. Cox has a question. October 7th, well, he wants to say something. October 73, a 500-mile long UFO appears over the USA-Canada border.
Give me a second.
And
we got it. Excuse me, Shawn, we have a caller.
Okay.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, my name's Morgana. Yeah, like I'm actually from the year 1776. Now, like I'm here to warn you. A lot of bad stuff is going to be happening.
Where?
Bad stuff.
What year are you from?
So I'm from America.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm actually from 2076, not 1776. Sorry, okay. Getting my years mixed up because I have really bad amnesia. Yeah, I mean, I'm here to warn you that a lot of bad things are about to happen to the world. So Russia is going to continue their advancement. They're going to take over Ukraine. There's nothing we can do about that, and no amount of money is going to stop that. And then China, those balloons. Those balloons were filled with dangerous chemicals.
What kind of chemicals?
So I don't know the exact name of the chemicals exactly, like the scientific name, but they're going to turn a lot of people into zombies. I know it sounds crazy. But like it's something that could have been prevented, but it's too late now. It already happened. I think the best bet. There's a certain supplement you can take. It's called quercetin, and it'll prevent you from being exposed to these chemicals. Soon enough, the U.S. government's going to ban it. Suggest that you stock up now.
So how do you time travel?
So I have a pod. So I go into a pod. It's actually something that was developed into the year 2030. So it's actually going to be developed soon using AI. Yeah, it's a machine. It's a machine that's built by Obama.
Obama?
No, Obama.
I was going to say.
Obama. So what it does is it creates a new timeline that branches off from its original timeline. It's like consider it like a plane. It's almost like an airplane, but it uses up a lot of coronal energy. It can carry only enough power for 2 trips in at a time. So I'm gonna have to go back within the next couple of days here. But basically, it's almost like a turbine that goes through multiple laws of universes.
Okay, we one of the comments wants to know how fast his how fast your thought speed is. How fast is your thought speed? And I'm not sure what that means.
My thought speed.
Mhm.
So I'm faster than the speed of light. Coronal energy it goes so quickly that you can't even see it. You can't even feel it.
Are you?
Wow.
You're not the same. You're not this. Are you the same time traveler I was talking to on TikTok by any chance?
That was me. Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so how often do you do this time traveling?
I can only do it. I can only do one trip there and one trip back. Right.
Why is that? Why is that? If you have any questions in the chat for this time traveler, do you have a Mark K Cox in chat wants to know prove it. Can you prove that you're a time traveler?
Can I prove it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can show my pod. I can post a screenshot, but it could be dangerous because
you're making my crown shake.
Yeah, the government might, like they come after me if I reveal too much. I don't want to be doxxed.
No, why did they? How did you become a time traveler? What are you, some kind of a special agent? Are you a really high IQ? Do you do some kind of physics work for a living? Any kind of engineer?
Well, like my mother, her name is Balma. She designed the concept behind time travel. So she works for a corporation that can create these time machines.
Shawn, what do you think?
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Please, I'm not making fun of you, dude, but I finally got used to UFOs and aliens, and now we're into time traveling. So I'm speechless, Jenny. Just keep going asking because you know
Okay,
more about this than me.
Mark on chat said 8815 and 1123:15 teleport thought and changed live TV because we thought speed of light speed until you change live
Live
TV. You're a liar. What the heck does that mean? He's calling you a liar. I think that's what this.
Mark J. Cox.
Why do you think he's a liar? I think I've had so many people on this show, and I actually corresponded years ago on Skype. Would you remember that, Shawn, about the guy that
Yes.
wanted to be on the show? He was a time traveler.
Oh my God! Yeah, never shut up.
He sent us all kind of, oh my God, this material that I had no idea what it was. It's all physics and a lot of numbers.
Yeah. So what I use is a microchip, microchip that can store my biological data and transform myself through time.
Whoa!
That's how it's done.
So actually, they take you give blood and you send it in this pod and you go somewhere with it?
It's a microchip.
Microchip?
Where's the microchip at?
So right now I'm basically a microchip.
Oh, you are a microchip.
Yes.
I don't know, Mark. Time travel begins like this. 10,000. Was that, what the heck?
10 billion.
10 million. Feel that? You just moved eternity. You moved it from thought to sight and time travel. Well, I don't know, because I think there's portals, but so you're not using a portal, you're using a device.
Yes.
And what's the shape of the device?
It's oval shaped.
And does it have any kind of mechanical parts on the outside, or is it like a sphere?
It's a sphere.
There's no void. There's no void, no universe. So everyone's saying there's a universe is not a time traveler. That was
what is on your pod? What is the material used?
The material of
the pod, yeah.
I mean, it's basically made out of fiber.
Okay. So do you know what kind of fiber? I mean, because if you're
Is it a
traveling,
soluble fiber? What kind of fiber is it?
I mean, seriously, so you can go into different dimensions without
When
burning
you
up?
don't have what?
We don't have steel. We ran out of steel. We ran out of oil.
Okay, so the year that you live in, there's no steel, there's no oil.
Yes, we ran out of it.
And what is it? Is it sort of like on a an apocalyptic
Yeah.
city? I mean, what's
Yeah.
no,
Well, can you tell us some other stuff that's going to happen in the future?
Nuclear holocaust happened in my timeline.
you're making my crown crooked. So what did you say, Shawn?
I want to know what other bad issues are going to be coming up pretty soon. Everyone's talking about the year 2030. What have you been to 2030?
Just wait until the androids start coming in. I mean, if you thought ChatGPT was scary, wait till you see some of these androids that Russia and China have been working on.
If they're working on it, right, then I'm sure we are.
What is
Oh,
he
my
saying?
my cousin said, "Who wins the next Super Bowl?"
The next Super Bowl?
Yeah.
There probably won't be another Super Bowl, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's not good. You hear that, Shawn?
No, that's not good at all.
Okay, what's happening? What's the like okay, so you left when was the last time you time traveled?
Well, realistically, just today, actually.
Okay, do you have any kind of physical problems, or how do you feel when you come back? Are you weak?
No, it's pretty much business as usual.
And have you ever felt like you were stuck in a different time that you couldn't get back?
No, I've perfected it. So that happened at first in the beta trials, but now everything's good to go.
No, do you go by yourself?
Yeah, good question.
You do go by yourself? Does anybody else know that you're a time traveler? Do you tell anybody, or is this just something anonymous?
No, if I did, I'd probably be either killed or taken hostage.
I don't know, Shawn.
I don't know either. Booth says I heard there are some scientists creating a bio android by Dr. Jiro. Do you
Who's
know
that?
who Dr. Jiro is? Time traveler.
Yes, so Dr. Jiro works for Pfizer, and
Pfizer, of course.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's a different Pfizer than what you're thinking of.
No, time traveler. Do you have a wife?
It starts with a B-I-O-Z-E-R. It's pronounced differently. Pfizer, not Pfizer.
Pfizer, not Pfizer.
Yes, bio.
Okay.
Like bio, B-I-O. So they create androids.
Okay, now my question is, now when you time travel, do you have friends in these years? Or are
That's
you
a
by
good one.
yourself?
I mean, I try to make some friends. It's not like my objective is not to make friends, but we can be friends.
Okay, now Boots comes back and says the android I heard can regeneration and absorb energy. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. They can absorb your energy. They can basically take control of all of your cells and make them one with their own. It's actually kind of scary, but cool.
And Mark says, how many senses does the time traveler have now? Because I have proved that time tunes the body.
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like I've lost my sense of hearing a little bit. It's hard for me to hear sometimes because, as you imagine, being stuck in that little pod can really be restrictive.
How big is the pod?
It's pretty big. It's about, I want to say maybe 30 feet.
Did you ever hear the time traveler who calls himself Noah?
No.
He claims he was stuck in our time after being sent here from the future. And he's stuck here. Are you worried that you're going to be stuck in a different time?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one chance to go back. And if it doesn't work, then I'll be stuck here.
Okay,
forever.
Boots wanted me to ask you a question. If there is there a planet called Namak, Namak, and who lives there?
Yeah, there is. So they're basically like aliens, like the way that you think of aliens. Yeah, they're green. They have scarce resources. And they have a great sense of pride in being, but they're very persecuted population once humans find out about them.
So when you travel in the future, there are a lot of android robots or AIs everywhere.
Yes.
Well, you're being called a liar. Now, Mark, if you want, we can give you a link and you can get on the conversation with him. You can come on StreamYards. I can't have 2 phone calls going at once. I don't think that the system's going to let me do that. But if you want, we can post a link to the show and you can debate this time traveler. So I'm going to go ahead and put the copy and paste the link into the chat. Anybody else who wants to come on and debate Mr. Time Traveler? Do you have a name, Time Traveler? Morgana. If anybody wants to debate Morgana, just hit the link. You don't have to do video. You can just do the audio. Right, Shawn?
Yep, just do the audio.
I mean, I think it's a good conversation because there's a lot of people that actually believe they are from a different time. Now, I had an issue a couple years ago, Shawn, where I thought I time traveled. Do you remember that? Was it with
I
Beacon
do.
of
Yeah,
Beacon?
Beacon of Light. We were
Beacon
on.
of Light. I thought it was a certain time. The time hadn't changed yet, and I lost an hour. And I don't
Yeah, I
know where I
remember.
went.
Yeah, she did lose an eye. Like, where'd he
So
go?
time tunes the body, and he has no senses. So you're saying that what was her name again?
Mark.
Morgana.
Morgana doesn't have any senses? Come on, Mark, hit the link and join us, and you can debate with him because he can't hear you.
Because he's not debating a liar. Time, yeah. It's interesting. I want to know more about this Morgana or Morgana?
Morgana.
Okay, please tell me some more. Like, is there sports? Is there food? Is there gambling?
No, I mean, like, the entertainment's completely different now.
What is it?
It's all within your mind. Like you have basically no sense of being, no sense of self. I mean, I was able to avoid it just because the connections that I have. But for pretty much everyone else, they have no self of being. I know that sounds scary, but that's how it is.
No sense of being.
Well, they don't need entertainment. They have they aren't essentially people anymore.
They're more like AIs.
Yes.
And that would be boring. Is it boring when you go to these places?
Yes. That's why I wanted to time travel. because it's just not very exciting.
So that's, you find time travel as a sense of entertainment.
Yes.
Can you eat, and do you still do the normal things?
Yeah, I can still eat. Yeah.
So you're from 2030.
Well, no, I'm from 2076.
Okay,
But
so where are you calling from? You're from 2023?
yes,
So where are you at right now?
I can't tell you that.
Well, okay, so are you, what kind of device are you using? Because your cell phones are probably they're probably different than our phones. Like, how are you calling me? How are you calling the station?
Well, I created an account like everyone else would, like a social media account. Like I know how to do that. I learned very quickly. I'm very intelligent.
Oh, I'm not debating that. I just was curious. Okay, what is this? Mark said, K. Cox said, watch Barrett Jackson Reno 8815 when the bid on the last Michigan bodied 427 Corvette is at 185,000. As an Agent Smith, he announces making him say 200,000. I have no idea what you just said, Mark. No, I'm not trying to be ignorant. I don't understand what you said. Why don't you come on and explain yourself? Barrett Jackson has not televised every bid since.
I'm confused.
I am confused too, Mark.
But so is there these AIs in 2076? Are they married? Do they have children? Do they just walk around and dressed in white? Tell us stuff.
Yeah, well, there's really no need for them to be, married. That concept really doesn't exist where I'm from, but they have no gender. Actually, they're just basic computer programs.
Okay, so they're not human beings. They're just mechanical. No. They're just, so the human race is not longer in existence.
Well, there's some like
get him off. Get him off.
I'm not a stupid broad. And
you know what, Mark?
Broad. I'm gonna have to ban you from ever being on here,
his
Mark.
ass right now. Ban him.
Broad.
Don't you ever call my friend a stupid broad? I don't give a shit who you are. Fire me, whatever.
Shawn. You're blocked, Mr. User. I'm a stupid broad. Not broad. When was that word used before? Broad.
I don't know.
It sounds like he's illiterate. Okay? Illiterate.
Okay, Michael Anthony has something. He's Michael. He's my bud. He said he studied the future outcomes. There is no sex. Cyborgs with human downloads.
Oh.
What do you think of that, there, Mr. Morgana?
Morgana?
There's. I apologize. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
Cyborgs with human downloads. Huh. It's already been done.
Yeah, my name is Morgana.
Morgana, not Morgana.
You know what, dude? And I apologize for that, but I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we do have a different dialect than everybody else. So you have to forgive me on that. I'm very sorry.
Okay. You're welcome. I meant no offense. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. I feel bad now.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
You look like an actress with your mind. What's
that there, Mike?
I don't understand, Michael.
Anthony says, I think being so smart, he shouldn't worry about the government finding him and give him real information. And what we're saying to you, Morgana, is what people are saying in the chats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Michael Anthony says, clarity for you. You can look like anybody, but have your mind. I can understand that. I can look like you, Jenny, and I'll have my own mind, not yours.
I'm not really sure about that, Shawn.
Well, I'm just saying that's how I'm picking up what Michael's saying. What are there any other when you go time traveling? Okay, are there other time travelers there with you, or are you just like by yourself?
There's a couple of others like myself. We're essentially a part of a faction.
Okay. What else? A faction of what?
Transphobias are gone and livable. Transphobias? You mean like transgender people? I don't know.
Um, so do you guys, now I'm not being smart when I say this, but do you all have your own club with all the time travelers involved with this?
Probably.
After this android conflict, we had to create our own alternate timeline, one where we could save, the planet, or so we thought. It's good. We're part of an android anti-android coalition, AAC. How is that guy with the pistol not dead?
I was just listening to your conversation about a pencil, something. Pencil. Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Do you know we're dealing with some AUPs and UFOs lately? Is there anything in the future that would bring any kind of closure to any of that? I mean, are we seeing any in the future? Is there alien life? Are we communicating with alien life?
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of different planets that have sentient beings on there that aren't, human, essentially. Some of which actually humans actually enslave, and it actually results partially in what happens in my timeline with the androids.
So what? So you go travel back in time because you're bored, because there's no entertainment in the future.
Partially, I mean, the rest of my I'm a little bit of I'm going against the mission, so to speak. I really could care. I don't really care about the future of the timeline that I'm from, but some others, they do. They're trying to save that alternate timeline and create something new. I'm not, though. I don't care.
One of our listeners, yeah, Kevin, he's from England. He says, I feel there's no physical time travel for us, only in the mind. Sometimes we trip forward, sometimes we trip backward and see things. But I seriously doubt that's possible to do it in the body.
Hello? Is he still there?
Hello?
Oh, you still there? Thought maybe you decided to time travel. So do you call this like quantum leaping? Or is this just something that you get in your pod, like you're going down to the grocery store, and do you have a specific time, or does this just happen? You go wherever your device takes you, your little
when traveling
pod.
back in time. So you can't really travel forward. That's impossible as far as I know. What my time machine actually creates a new timeline that branches off from its original one at the moment in time where my time machine arrives. It's not necessarily possible to change the past in the sense that one's present will change, but any change that's done in that past will be reflected in a new timeline.
So you can only travel back in time. You can't go forward in time.
So when I go back to the future, that time machine will actually go back to my original timeline. So there's nothing that I can actually change in my timeline. Some people think that they can, but I know it's impossible.
It's impossible to change time. You can't interfere with.
Well, I cannot change my timeline, but I can change your timeline.
Oh.
Okay, I'm retiring in 7 years, dude. Make my time go fast. That was a joke. That was a joke. Michael Anthony says, what's Project Looking Glass? There is no forward yet, only the present.
Yeah, I mean,
have you ever heard of Project Looking Glass?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, I have not heard of that.
I don't know. Any more questions for this time traveler before I let him go on his way into the universe? No questions for him?
No, but thank you for being on.
Why don't you come back when you're back in this time? Why don't you actually come on the show next time? I'm like, as a guest, I don't know how you can you do that?
I'll figure out a way.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do I shut? Okay.
People, please give us a minute to I'm seriously, like I told before, that I'm just getting used to aliens and UFOs, and then a real time traveler comes on the show and it just blew me away. So I mean, if I knew I was going to be prepared for this guy coming on, maybe I'd have some more questions on it.
I wasn't prepared for no time traveler questions.
Doctor Who. Okay, I see where you're getting at. I see what he's getting at.
Well, I mean, we've seen so many TikTok videos who time travelers. We discussed this before many a times, and like that one we saw, Shawn, where he never saw people. He only saw because he can't interact with the people.
Yeah, he was in a different city, and all he took was video. And the cars were still there, the buildings were still there, coffee was on the table. And even to this day, Jen, I don't care how long it took him, but I have a feeling that he photoshopped all those, taking all the people out of that. I know it takes a long time to do that, but I have a feeling he did that, or else he just has one hellacious green screen. You know what I mean? Anthony says we are going into the forest next weekend. We might meet him when we cross over. That's true, Tony. That's a story. No, Jen. Honest to God, Anthony has a good story. He was a guest on my show, and we got to get him on the show to talk about the forest. It's pretty interesting. You there? Uh-oh, she lost. I don't know. Oh, my God. Get him off. Mark, why? Why do you come on? Okay. He got on somehow again. So I guess Jenny got called off or something like that. So we were supposed to have Tom, oh, I forget his name. And about a small little situation they had in 1960. Thomas Reed supposed to be on the show today, but he had some troubles getting on. But he will be on next week.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Mark K. Cox is back in. How do you get back in? He's going to take a. Would you take a shotgun out of your purse and blow my head off? No, I would never do that, Mark.
Okay, everybody. Kevin, Brian, Michael, I want you to hear this. This Mark J. Cox says, if we were in the schoolyard and I called you a stupid broad, would you take a shotgun out of your purse and blow my head off?
Probably
Get
not.
him the hell out of here.
I did block him. He's back. I can't help it. He came back. I don't know how he must have different. I did block him.
Uh,
Mark,
Mis-
if you want to stay on, you have to apologize. I will block you again.
but this Thomas Reed, that we were supposed to have on today, there was a show. What was it called
Um,
on Netflix? It was a good
unsolved
show,
all unsolved mysteries.
Unsolved Mysteries. And when I watched it, it was only 29 minutes long, and it was like really, really interesting. Um, how not just him being, abducted, but there's a ton of other people, like 40
Yeah.
other people, and there was just
Yeah.
ton of
On September 1st, 1969, about 40 people in Berkshire County, Massachusetts, reported seeing a UFO. And one boy who was going to be on the show was Thomas Reed. And he claimed he and his family were taken aboard. I don't know if anybody had a chance to do any research on that before the show, but 40 residents in that little town of Berkshire, it was a very small town that they reported seeing a UFO. And it
yeah.
actually reached beyond the area, which is, I found that fascinating.
But I
And
did do a little studying on that. I want to bring my, I did research for the hell of it. You know what I mean? So
what did you,
uh,
I mean,
there's a big, massive lake, okay, that is close to the places where the UFO landed, okay. And because when I was looking at that show, I'm thinking, where's the body of water? Sure, you got the ocean,
mhm.
but this gigantic lake, it begins with the letter Q, I forget. And all the three towns that this spaceship landed, um, there was this big lake. So I have a feeling that it could have been an underwater base that was sitting in that lake, and there's probably one now.
Yeah, and they said, so it reached beyond. So not only did it happen to 40 different people, but it actually went beyond the town that people said they saw. And according to the Netflix series, um, they don't know what happened. I mean, all the people that it happened to, including Tom Reed, that it changed their life. Now they don't know exactly what it was, but they all saw a light, a disc shaped craft that it kind of did different maneuvers in the sky, like going circles up, like a sort of what the TikToks did. Not TikTok, Tic Tac.
But what I want to ask Tom Reed next week is he has a quote. It's whatever you do, don't call it an abduction.
That's what I
Reed.
don't understand. What is he? Because he doesn't know if he was taken. He doesn't have any memory of it.
Right. So, but you also got, like, as I was continuing my research, there's like 3 different military bases around that lake.
Good research,
So,
John.
thanks. So it's like it's probably there in mass, just like they are over there in. Many never know. It's true, Mike. Many never know.
But
But
they all said they lost track of time. They don't know what happened. They all claim they have never been the same since. They don't know how long exactly the phenomena lasted. They don't know how long that they were like out of it. I know in the documentary, Tom said that he and his family ended up at their family store. So they went through
and
the tunnel. I have actually pictures of the tunnel.
and actually, what happened was what made it legit for him was his grandmother was in the driver's seat and his mom was in the
Yeah, that's
passenger
what
seat.
that was neat. That was neat. I thought that was because I have never heard that from any other abductions. Well, abductees, or he doesn't really want to call it that. But no, here's that is the tunnel that their car went through. And then I guess it happened like outside the tunnel. Was it inside the tunnel?
It was outside.
Uh,
Yeah, they did, Brian. They didn't switch it. When they came back, right? They the grandma was in the driver's seat and the mom was in the passengers. They didn't switch it.
and that's the site well, the one fella saw where they saw the UFO.
But what about the right? Okay, he saw it. That's my cousin. He saw it. But with the woman's story where she was supposed to not go to the lake and see for ice cream, but she ended up going with her parents, and her life changed. Okay, because she said she was abducted. Um, she said when she was inside the UFO, all she could see was like steel walls around her, and that was about it. And then, but you can look at these people and just look how they're interviewed and their persona
Well,
is like real.
according to the WSPS, the radio station said they don't know. They didn't call it a UFO. They just didn't know what it was, but they said it was something bizarre. And the fact that they did, they talked to the police department, and there was no reports of any. No one called in saying there was any kind of UFO, which I
No,
thought
and
was kind of odd because Kecksburg, everybody called in. They thought it was a UFO.
well, I'll tell
Everybody
you
called in.
a story
It
on
was about
that.
the same time, wasn't it, Sean?
Yeah, but on um, Kecksburg and this thing, no.
Well, wasn't Kecksburg 67 and this was 69?
Uh,
It was in the 60s.
yeah, it was in the 60s. That's right. My bad. But what I'm saying is the cop who was on duty getting all these phone calls thought it was a big joke and he never took a
Is that what
report
he
from,
was it? He
yeah,
thought it was a joke. Well,
yeah. So, but they put that monument out there in the
yeah, I have a picture. They made a monument, and
that's
there's
the
a
monument, and they had to take that monument down because it's so called on public property.
oh my God.
And there was like the Hatfield and McCoy situation. Some believed, it happened, but there's a lot of people that didn't believe, and they really didn't like that stone. So they kind of like got together and they all voted like in their town meetings or whatever, and then they got it removed, which I think is a bunch of horse crap myself.
I don't. I just think it's crazy how they just threw this under the. Like no one. They don't. They can't even find any newspaper articles on it.
No,
So Reed said it rose up a little bit. It looked like it followed the dirt road, which I had that picture of the. I think it's the dirt road over here. Followed the dirt road, or it didn't. It appeared that way because you could see through the trees. The light started to bleed through once they broke into a little bit of clearing. So I guess when they went through the clearing, the lights dissipated. They said they could see inside the car, so the light was flooding inside. So the light filled up the car. That's a strong light. So whatever it was, like a spotlight, but it filled the whole car. And she said it was like an amber glow. It emerged on both sides of the road. And Reed recalled being taken to a hangar-like area that was bigger than a football field. So, well, I don't know why he says he wasn't abducted. He was taken to a football-sized field. I mean, with
maybe
craft.
maybe what I think is that if to him or other people, now I can't speak for him, we'll find out next week.
Yeah.
But maybe if I was abducted, um, I wouldn't want that word classified to me. Okay, that I was abducted. I wouldn't like that.
He said the lights were like fluorescent tubing inside the hangar. The hallway he saw was a singular with a Y configuration almost to control the flow of traffic. So there must have been a lot of activity going inside this, whatever it was. He said he had no idea where he was, but he knew what he saw was very different than anything else he'd ever seen in 50 years later.
Michael says maybe they're like bends. That's
Bends.
can you
You
explain
mean like
that?
the bends? You mean like when you go real deep in the water? Is that what you're talking about?
That's
The bends?
possible. Yeah, I think so. But what would you do in the situation if you were driving there with Ava in your car, and all of a sudden you see this big old thing come at you? What would you do, John?
I don't know. Part of me would like to welcome it, but I think a part of me is going to be terrified if I saw something like that. Like, oh my God, what is that? And you knew that you were going to be taken away from wherever you were. That's why I think when I hear stories like this, I mean, I would be terrified. And you hear all these abductees that they aren't terrified. There's like, oh, it's so peaceful and calm. And then you hear the stories, or you watch like Fire in the Sky with Travis Walton. I know that was a fictional depiction of it, but I mean, I know they did that for entertainment, but that was horrifying. Did you watch that, Sean? Did
Y-
you ever watch Fire in the Sky?
Yes,
It
yes,
was
I
it
did.
was terrifying.
Not only when he was in the cocoon, coming out of the cocoon, was it terrifying, but I found it pretty interesting. Michael Anthony says we've seen light can bend. It doesn't seem like it's possible, but if you look at some of the experiments, even on the Skinwalker Ranch, it's proven. Okay, that's might have to do some watching that. Is that show still on Skinwalker Ranch, or did they take that off,
Oh,
Jen?
it's all over the place.
Is it
I
still
mean,
on?
yeah, it's on Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime. But we get back to these encounters. I mean, we got Roswell, 1947, and
Right.
then September 1969 in Berkshire County, Massachusetts, with the Berkshire with incident. Then you have, I know Kecksburg has been ruled that it's not a UFO. Then you have the Colorado lights, the Phoenix lights. You have the UFOs over Washington in the 50s. You have all these tic tacs all over the place. No one's saying anything. No one's coming clean. They don't care. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be known. I think if there's UFOs out there and they want to abduct us for their, I truly am at the point where I don't know if I believe that they are really extraterrestrials. I think they're the government in disguise. We talked about this hundreds and hundreds of times before on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes all back, and you want to
Well,
believe, like
right.
Mulder and Scully, you want to believe that there
Right.
are, but it seems like it's
But
like
here
there's nothing else out there.
I got some interesting fact during my research.
Hmm.
The first reported UFO sighting was in 1639 by the Massachusetts Bay Governor John Winthrop over Boston. So I don't think our government had the capabilities um, to do that back then in
Yeah,
1639.
no, yeah, there's all these paintings that depict. You can see them in these beautiful. What do you call it? Renaissance paintings. There's UFOs.
Michael Anthony says, while Pittsburgh still remains questionable, nobody really proved anything beyond the shadow of
You're
a
talking
doubt.
about Kicksburg?
Kecksburg? Yeah, I bet you that
Okay.
is it. He's talking about Kecksburg, everybody. While Kecksburg still remains questionable, nobody really proved anything beyond the shadow of a doubt. It's theory, and I appreciate John and others' work, but the bait is good, and the name Clifford Stone says a lot.
So you're falling under the same assumption that they are, like Stan Gordon thinks they truly are UFOs.
Uh, he also says 1492 and the memoirs from Christopher Columbus, seeing them over the water, addresses them as lights entering waters. And Michael said yes to your question, Jen.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, going back to Kecksburg, I don't know, but there's picture. I'm going to show you some of these pictures that are in. These are paintings. Oh my God, this one was. I can't really see the date on it. I don't think it's. These are Renaissance. These are like like you were saying, there's paintings that are like 1600s. I'm taking it right now. I don't know.
But now you have the Barney and Betty Hill. That was in
Yeah.
New Hampshire. That was in 1961. Cynthia Hubert, 1808. She was a teacher in Maine, but she was from Massachusetts. Okay. 1965. Exeter. I wonder if that's a town. I'm not sure, but that was in New Hampshire. What just seems like, doing my research and I was looking, there's a lot of UFO activity that's not in the boss, that area, the New England area. But in all our shows that we've had, we have never had anybody talk about the New England states. It's all out in Arizona. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He says, and Michael says, it's hard to write. I'm on my cell phone. Sorry for mistakes. Brian says, wasn't there an eyewitness accounts to Kecksburg?
Oh, there was tons of eyewitnesses. There was tons of them, but they come to the conclusion, like John Ventry said, that there's these symbols on the craft or this cone or acorn type shape that were Russian codes for I guess the satellite. I'm not sure for what exactly
Brian,
it was.
it was put on the flatbed and it was covered by a tarp. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you look at that and all they found was like different designs or whatever hieroglyphics around it. How in the hell could it have been a freaking Russian spy satellite? Okay.
Because it was during the Cold War, and that's why they thought it was that.
Well, what year did the Cold War start?
I don't know. Come on, guys. I did very good in history.
But that I'm just saying. But getting back to the New England states, how come we never heard anything?
Because they don't. I know there isn't really anything over here because I think because the land there is so open, you got the deserts and like deserts, New Mexico, Arizona. That's probably why they have all the open plains. Like in Colorado, there was a sighting at St. Mary's. It's a hot spot. SD Park is a hot spot.
But check this out, right? Check this out. Do you know Pennsylvania is in the top 10 of the states that have UFO activity? They're number 7.
According to MUFON, yeah.
They're number 7. Then I looked up the top 10 for cryptids because everybody's. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Cold War began 1945 after World War II. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. But it's just like then I looked up because everyone says everything up there on Chestnut Hill, up on Chestnut Hill. There's a lot of cryptids up there, but Pennsylvania didn't make. They didn't make it to the top 10. Michael says, I agree to disagree because they are quite seen over power lines. Yes, we are. Yeah, he was talking about being ranked 7th. But don't you think Carnation deserves a little commercial?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Carnation. Thank you so much for sponsoring the second hour of Chasing Prophecy Radio on FM 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Carnation's Essentials Protein is a delicious breakfast drink, and you can also use Carnation evaporated milk to make your holiday treats. Easter's coming up. You can have a delicious truffle with your Easter desserts. Yes. Thank you, Carnation, for sponsoring this hour.
Michael says sightings also become more prevalent during war activities.
I wonder why that is.
Well, you figure all the mass destruction. Now, if you want to, all the stuff going on, this just popped into my head. They're probably checking out how many are being killed, who's being killed, stuff like that, like taking numbers, on what's going on. But it's just fascinating. And see, when you tell me to research shit, all right, I really get into it, Jenny.
Well, you really researched, I have to say.
I do, and I'm not done yet because I'm still fixated on the New England states.
There you go.
Maybe we can get a little bit from Tom next week about, but it was fascinating where that big lake was at. There's 3 or 4 military bases around that lake, and 3 or 4 of the towns near that lake is where the UFO landed or was seen.
Yeah, Massachusetts, that's very, like you said, very unusual for UFO sighting because, like, most of them are out. Colorado, there's the one in San Luis Valley. I think there was that was in the year 2000. So many people saw that one. I mean, I hardly, like you said, I have never heard of any UFO sightings this way. We've never had one out this way, but like Roswell's a really big hot. Texas is a hot spot for UFOs. Maryland is too. There's some in Maryland and Illinois, California. I think according to the statistics I'm looking at right now, Idaho, there was 164 sightings in the last 5 years. Montana, there was 98. New Hampshire. Do you believe New Hampshire had 107. Yeah. Maine had 97.
Right. And
there's a whole list of them.
South Carolina on it. That's where my cousin's from, Brian. He's from South Carolina.
Yeah, let me see. There's a whole mess of them over here. I'm going to
it's just unless since Massachusetts is
the most of them are Idaho, Montana, New Hampshire, Vermont, Wyoming, and Washington and Connecticut have the most UFO sightings.
Well, look at all those damn states that you just mentioned there, except for Washington, right?
And the fewest
New England states.
And the fewest is Texas, Louisiana, New York, Maryland, Illinois, California, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and North Carolina. Those are the ones who have the least.
I believe there's more water. And it's just proven a little bit of theory for me.
Well, what's in Idaho? Potatoes? I mean, because they're the ones with the most.
From the underground
number bases, 1 is Idaho.
The underground bases up there. No, everyone's fixated around Roswell and that area around there. But on the missing 411, wasn't there a couple people missing from Idaho? Wasn't there a hunter?
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
There's none. They're not even mentioned Pennsylvania at all, and there's none in New Orleans, which is kind of strange. You think with all the, swamps, paranormal stuff that would have.
Right. So
there's not one in here in New Orleans. That's weird.
It's just amazing. I just think the East Coast got the majority of all the UFO sightings. And most of them are probably surrounded by a whole bunch of water. Okay, so I do believe now underground water bases exist. And I finally went over the line.
Then there's caves that are associated with UFOs, and there's 10 caves in America that are hot spots for UFO activity. There's the hidden people of Snæfellsjökull, Iceland.
Whoa,
so what would be in Iceland that would
water?
Yeah. Then there's Glastonbury Mountain, Vermont, and I don't see if there's any. There's no water.
If I'm not mistaken, Vermont's close to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, I want to see if it's if there's large bodies of water. Between 1945 and 1956, people on separate occasions would disappear without a trace.
Hmm. But why do they keep them? Why do they keep people and not bring them back? Is their blood good, or
Well,
they
I
see
don't know.
something?
It goes back to Bigfoot sightings that are also associated with UFO hotspots. Now, Bigfoot, is he carnivorous? Does he like human flesh? I don't know. Does he just prefer vegetation? I don't know if this would explain why they disappear.
But think about it too,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, so Bigfoot does. A lot of people say, and I believe that it's part. They working with the UFOs. But if you look at all the black holes out there, all the portals that there are, maybe they went into another dimension. Maybe
Maybe
Bigfoot
they
went into
did.
another dimension and did not go back to the dimension where the UFO's been.
And then they have the alien ships and cave systems of Antarctica. They believe that there's alien ships in Antarctica.
And that goes
But
back to the
you can't
treaty that
yeah, it goes back to the treaty. You can't even go there because there's that treaty. Didn't they revoke the treaty recently? What did they do?
I don't know.
One of our guests was talking about that.
Michael, did they get rid of that treaty, or is it still on, brother? But yeah, so they signed a treaty, no one could go visit it, and then maybe it's because of low water or whatever they're saying right now. But I like the idea where they have UFOs in all these caves.
And in the summer of 2017, while attending an Enlightenment Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence conference in the state of Washington, several UFO enthusiasts claim they have seen a large opening near the top of Mount Adams.
Wow.
So they said that they think that the UFOs are going into the mountainside, and they're convinced that it's an alien base.
It's very possible. And I'll be honest with you, Washington State scares the crap out of me because that's all woods out there, man.
And this is where a lot of people are missing. David Paulides has a lot of shows on that area, are missing people, hunters, loggers.
Kevin says, true, Bigfoot and UFOs are sighted within the same area. But that doesn't mean, Kevin, I believe that the Bigfoot does go back with the, the dimension where the UFO was. It could possibly go to another portal or whatever you want to call them and go to another plane. It's just I watch all these Bigfoot shows, and it's like people see them, right? And then all of a sudden they're gone, just
Mhm.
like a drop of a hat. Now you can
I
also go ahead. I'm sorry,
I was just going to say the United Kingdom is a real hotspot too for UFOs.
and that's Kevin right here. Kevin says, "I think we need to explore that link." Ah, that'll give me some. You know what, Kevin? Thank you for saying that because I'll do some research on that. You know, um, because there are tons of portals out there that things can go through. The dog
Kevin,
man.
have you heard of the Broadhaven school incident? Several school children reported seeing a disc-shaped craft landing in a field near a school, and there was humanoid figures that had stepped out from the craft for several minutes before climbing back aboard. And this was in the UK. It's kind of, I don't know. What would how do we know that these humanoid figures, that especially children, see?
He says he has. He's have heard of it.
And then there's the one at the mountains in Arizona was a popular spot for hikers. They said that they saw reptilian humanoid creatures that were about to abduct people.
Well, then
How do we
again,
know? How do we know people? I'd like to see I know I'm not trying to be disrespectful for people who have some kind of psychological problem or mental health. Like, how do we know most of these people don't have some kind of mental health issue that they're seeing these things? Like, how can we like, oh, I saw this reptilian figure come out of a disc that landed in the desert. No, first of all, you're in the desert. Were you dehydrated before you saw these things? Did you have enough fluids? I'm being a skeptic because some of these stories are so outlandish. Like the one, it's like a beastly creature that looks like a cross between a snake and a frog.
I never saw that one yet.
No, I'm just saying these people. This like I'm looking at this research. A desert in Arizona, the Superstition Mountains, they call it the
Yeah,
Superstition Mountains
that's
in Arizona. Now these people saw reptilian creatures that get out of a disc shape. No, you're in a desert. Are you dehydrated? Are you seeing these creatures? Do you need fluids? Is your mental state corrupted? You know what I'm saying? How do you know that these people aren't just nuts or have a medical issue?
well, I with mental health here that I have, and
But did you see little green men?
well, if I did see Little Green Man, I would say something. If I saw the frog people, I'd have to blink my eyes a couple times.
Well,
And
I'm saying I'm not like so I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but how do you know these people don't need medical attention that are seeing these things?
your mind wanders. Then, when you go on a ghost investigation and you're taking video and you're taking photos and you're looking at them photos, man, you see more than what you see. You
So
know,
could it be their imagination running wild?
who knows? The only way that we will be able to find out is if we experience that experience. So, personally, me, whenever somebody says something, okay, I would like to get to know the person a little bit better before I would actually make a judgment on something. And I'm not knocking you, hon. I'm just saying,
Well, you know how on Mulder and Scully, Scully's a psychologist and she's always trying to debunk everything. And then you have Project Blue Book on the History Channel. What's his name? Hynek, yes. Now Hynek was like a smart guy, and he was trying to debunk things too with the Air Force. I don't know what branch was he? Air Force.
I think because
His
all the UFOs have to deal with, I believe, the Air
so
Force.
he's like the military guy, and Dr. Hynek is trying to give some rationalization to some of the things he's seen.
Mhm.
I'm trying to, like that's why they have a psychologist go with them to see if these people are either they're just, not in the right mind, or they're sick, or they, like I said, are they in the desert and they see these creatures, reptilian type alien creatures. My first thing is, are they dehydrated? Do they need fluids? Are their electrolytes messed up, making them see these things?
I understand what you're coming from when you say that, but but the only way we're going to ever find out is if we experienced it ourselves. Um,
I want you to, this is what your homework assignment is for today.
I
I want
don't-
you to see if you can watch Project Blue Book
okay,
on the history. I think it's probably still on the History Channel, or somewhere else, maybe Amazon. You could probably watch them and start at case number 1.
okay,
These are fascinating. We should do this. We should start. That's what we're going to do. We're going to watch the first one, and then we're going to have a show on it, what we just our findings, and go research it and discuss it, because all these things are so unusual. And then you have to put a sign, not just the skeptic, not being a skeptic, or just trying to debunk it. Like, are they real?
Kevin says, I have often been skeptical about the claims people make, but we are in the realm of high strangeness,
Yeah.
and I've ended up finding myself thinking twice before dismissing.
No, definitely. I mean, there's so many there's so many things that are so strange and
Did,
that you just don't know. It's like lately, I find that more and more we're seeing these cases of things that are so crazy, like beyond the scope of normal. It's like I don't know if we're in some kind of a funk, the way the planets are aligned. There's just so many crazy things in the news. You're trying to figure out what did they say? Is this true? What the hell is going on?
right. No, I totally agree, but I'm going to throw a stinger at you right now. The Mothman.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah. Tell us what you were talking about. You said they found out that it was all made up.
yeah. My boss at work watched it. He sent. I didn't get the chance to see it. I will and talk about it next week. But the Mothman, they came up with a story because West Virginia was doing some dirty deeds. Their government. I don't want to get into it because I might be banned from West Virginia for saying this. But all I know is that, and then they were doing bad things. The government was doing bad things, and they came up with a sidetrack of the Mothman. I mean, I've gone out in the woods and I've seen red lights at me, red eyes, but I don't think it was a Mothman.
It could have been an animal.
But yeah, so I do have that. I am going to watch it and I'll do a little.
Well, you were telling me that they did something with the bridge. The bridge was they didn't follow regulations or something.
Yeah, they didn't follow regulations on it. I do believe that it was not sturdy enough. I think they used the wrong bolts.
Well, that's like what happened in Western Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh with the bridge that collapsed. That could have been somebody could have seen Bigfoot running and they could have blamed it on Bigfoot.
Right,
Do you
exactly.
remember Mr.
So
Wonderful
it's
Fetterman
something
was
more
there?
that I gotta. My cousin says Blue Book was awesome.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna
I
have to
think I'm
watch
going to
that.
go watch it again because I don't know why they canceled it because that was a good show. I wonder why they do that.
Were they getting too close to the truth? Maybe.
I don't know.
How come I
I don't
can't
know
hear
why
you,
they
Jen?
can't. What can you hear me?
Nah, very little. Let me check my microphone.
Up and running.
Yeah.
You can't hear me. 1, 2, 3. Testing
All right,
1, 2,
Brian.
3.
Good seeing you, buddy. See you next week. See you
Can
next
you
week,
hear
Brian.
me, guys?
Thank you,
Shawn?
Brian. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But I don't know. But the thing down there with the Mothman, now that my boss saw that documentary, I'm going to see for myself and what they have come. All
Yeah.
clear, both of you? Is that bad or what? Oh, all clear. He's saying we're talking really good. He can hear us. Kevin does.
Thank you, Kevin.
But maybe it's my earphones. I've had these for a long time, and I might have to deep six them. I'm not even going to read it.
I don't know about Mothman.
It's something that I'm going to read. I'm going to watch that, and I'm going to watch it. And I got my thing all the way up to 100%. I don't know. It must be my computer. I don't know.
I hear something in the background. I don't know what it is. It sounds like
That's my computer's fan.
it's like
My
making
computer fan.
like a
It's like
fan.
calling
Yeah.
it off. Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
yeah, let me look at the Mothman. Let me look at that documentary and see what was going on. I know they had one supposed to talk to one witness. This guy was saying, and that they did not go as a witness because they were threatened to even tell their story about it. Hello.
I'm just reading. Sorry, I was reading about Mothman. George Norrie had a show on in 2007. But I thought, wait a minute, Art Bell. When did Art Bell die? I'm
I
trying to.
don't know.
It's in 2007, an 8-lane steel bridge on 135 West collapsed during an evening rush hour. 13 people were killed, and we know the story, nearly 150 injured, with many people claiming to have seen Mothman. After the collapse, George Norrie received multiple calls on the radio program Coast to Coast AM from people who said they had a Mothman sighting. Wait a minute. I thought the bridge collapsed in wasn't in 2007.
No, it was earlier, I
So
think.
so what was that about? Why are they saying that?
That's what
Complete.
I just don't understand. What this crap is. I
And
know he.
the
I
the mo go ahead. I was just going to say the most recent one was in October 26, 2020. A mother and daughter witnessed what appeared to be a winged demon creature. According to the witness, it was around 9 p.m. when her mother saw the creature outside her bedroom window, perched on the backyard fence. The daughter ran into the bedroom in response to her mother's screams. The creature was about 25 feet from the mother and daughter, who were watching with the lights turned off in the bedroom. The creature was black. He had facial features like a human, only its overall face was very demonic looking. It had human arms and legs. Its eyes were brilliant glowing red. The wings were jet black and tucked behind its back. The pair watched the humanoid creature for a minute and then spread its wings and flew away. And that was in 2020.
okay now. So your take. No, you heard what you said. What that lady just wrote. What you just told us. Shared with
Mhm.
us. Now, what about the people that saw the lizard-looking dude back over there in Idaho,
That wasn't Idaho, it was Arizona.
Arizona? So what's the difference?
Because that was a reptilian. This was like this is what everybody saw. And
Okay.
I'm not saying that this now to me it was probably demonic. It was probably was a demon. I don't think it had anything to do with Mothman.
Well, I don't
Because if
know.
you saw a demon in your usually why would Mothman be in the bedroom? Now demonic things like in sleep paralysis, they would come to you at sleep time and they look demonic and the
They
shadow
call that
people,
the old. They call that the old
the
hag
old
theory.
hag.
The old hag. And I have had many of those, and I saw the old hag, but that was just a couple times, and then it just went away.
Okay, in two
That's legit. That is
that, that
totally legit.
okay, I hear you on that one, but in 2009, now this is going back to being sick. The swine flu epidemic was the H1N1. Okay, it started in rural Mexico near Chihuahua and spread throughout the world with more than 14,000 deaths confirmed worldwide. Investigators traced the pandemic's origin to the month of April, and a lot of people saw okay, the month of April, just a month after more than 30 sightings of Mothman were reported. So, were these people sick with fever when they saw Mothman?
Possibility. We don't know. But then again, I'm not. When I watch that show, then I can come to up to a better conclusion. I just can't take it off of one person who did see it.
Hmm.
I have to see it myself in order to understand where he's coming from.
Well, this one sounds compelling. UFO Clearinghouse reports a USPS worker, the sorting mail located at Chicago O'Hare International Airport, came face to face with Mothman. It was around 11 p.m. when the woman was leaving her shift. Now, she could have been tired.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I worked at the post office. Yeah.
Okay, she might have been tired when this happened. Okay, so it was around 11 p.m. when the woman was leaving her shift and walking to the parking lot on September 24th, 2020. She glanced up from her cell phone and noticed a tall man standing about 20 feet from her car. She didn't think anything of it, assuming it was a fellow employee. She hit the key knob to unlock her door and turned on her headlights. The person was now illuminated and turned to look at her. That was the moment the woman panicked, realizing what she was seeing wasn't a person. The creature had brilliant red eyes. It stood about 7 feet tall. And when it turned to look at her, it unfurled its large wings. It made an odd clicking, chirping noise before releasing a strange screech. Terrified, the woman screamed and crouched down by the cars as the creature charged towards her. When it was about just a few feet from her, it flew up over her, and she dashed to her car, managed to get behind the wheel, and sped out of the parking lot and headed home. There have been all kinds of stories about people seeing this creature around the airport.
Okay.
Oh, was
There's
it a
not too many
Thunderbird?
airports down in West Virginia. I think the one I know of is in Charlestown, not or Charleston, one or the other. But there are no major. The closest one for West Virginia, I do believe, is Greater
No.
Pittsburgh.
If you were a Mothman, would you be flying near an airport that you can be hit by an airplane?
No,
Just-
no,
I'm
no.
just-
But you got a point there, though. You got a point.
yeah, seriously.
I mean, I'm not knocking people who have seen the Mothman, if that's what they want to call it, but I do want to watch this show and, come up with my own conclusion. And I will bring it up on
Oh, go
the
for it.
show. Yeah.
Oh, now, Mothman, it sort of sounds like Dracula.
Yeah, doesn't it? A big old winged bird. Now,
Yeah,
there,
like a
could it
bat.
not
You
be?
know how he
Could,
turned into a.
yeah, a bat. But do you think possible that it could have been a thunderbird?
That's what I was just gonna. I was gonna say that. Yeah, it sounds like a thunderbird.
Yeah, and they exist.
Oh
I
yeah,
got a call from my ex-girlfriend about 3 weeks ago, and she said she thought she saw one over her house. So
maybe she
I don't
did.
know.
Maybe
So
she did. Well, it seems like they're all large. Mothman is a large black figure.
Camlin says it sounds like the movie Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
I never saw
Oh,
that.
that thing was so freaking scary.
I didn't see the thing on that movie.
Then there's from 2011 to 2018, Mothman was spotted in Chicago and near Lake Michigan multiple times, nearly 70 by numerous witnesses. The witnesses described seeing a humanoid creature with bat-like wings and glowing orange-red eyes. Sounds like Dracula to me. Winged humanoid jumps off the Chicago Tower in 2017. I don't know.
Just, I mean, it seems like the Mothman is like directed down into West Virginia, but all of a sudden they're seeing them in different
Yeah, because
spots.
these are all. This one was there was one in Mexico in 2022, 6.5 inches tall, had fur instead of wings. Its eyes glowed red. The creature had human and male. It was like a human in an athletic male body.
Huh?
That's kind of creepy. It was
That's
like
creepy.
it's a man with an athletic body.
Okay.
There's just one after the other. 2017, a man was walking his dog in Chicago Park at night. Now, Chicago. His dog was reluctant to go probably because he saw Mothman standing there. But he saw a man with pair of wings tucked behind his back.
Could have been the devil.
Yeah, but and it rose above his head, the wings. It was like he called it a bird man. It looked at him with glow-reding eyes. It could be a devilish.
Could be the devil.
But, yeah. But
hey, Doreen, how are you?
Isn't
Doreen's the one that saw that thunderbird over her house.
Yeah. Well, Shawn, is it a mythology that says that the angels had wings? Do they really have wings?
So, some people think they do. Some people think they don't. It's like a 50-50 situation. It depends on who you read.
Because there's so many on here that says they all had the wings. They all had red eyes, and they're all black.
It could be, but then
color,
again, you're
very large and black.
Right. So people are probably thinking in their brains, oh, black, wings. It's probably a fallen angel.
What if we're going, but let's go back to the government and how they do experiments on people and animals. And then we know that they do breed different types of animals to make hybrids. and they've made movies about this series on Netflix about it. What if they got a creature like a monkey, like like a species like gorilla monkey, Neanderthal type man, and they bred it with some kind of a bird, like a blue heron or a even I don't know what else. What other big birds are there? Yeah, eagles aren't big. But what if they did that or did some kind of gene splicing and they created
It's
this type of hybrid animal, and that's what they are. They're just hybrids of they're like a new species. Sort of what I think
oh,
could be Bigfoot.
possibility.
If they bred I mean, or they didn't have to actually bred them. They could have just DNA,
I know
made
somebody that.
clones,
Yeah, I know somebody that does that.
you
Uh,
know?
Dor- Doreen says when the flight went down at Shanksville, the first responders said the whole area was guarded by angels with wings. I did not know that, Doreen. Thank
How
you
do
for
you know
telling me.
that, Doreen? Like, how do you, I mean, did they have pictures taking of these? I would like to see if there was any kind of pictures with angels. You know how people said at 9/11 they saw in some of the pictures there were angels above these people that were falling.
Hmm.
I wonder if there's any kind of pictures of when the bridge went down.
I'm sure they're out there, but who knows? But I like getting back to the government too because I know somebody that in order to graduate from school, they had to make a fish out of DNA.
Oh yeah, I think it's possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
No,
And
I absolutely. I think there's
so why would the government experience do experiments like this? What's the final outcome of all these experiments?
the government who knows why they do these things. I think they just do it to prove that they can do it, just like making a COVID a
The,
COVID
the, the,
do you know what I'm saying? When they
yeah.
made a in the Wuhan lab, they could because could prove that they could make a virus between the two. What was it?
Oh, she sent a link. She sent a
She
link
did.
to you.
Oh,
Yes.
she did. Where'd she send it to?
It's in the chat.
Let me see. How can I get that without they won't let me? I can't. Won't let me copy it.
So, what's everybody's theory on angels and about the government? Please tell me. What do you think? Please tell us. We need to know what you think. This is just me and Jen. That's all.
I can't see it, Dorian. It won't let me copy it. Flight 93. What was that? Oh, okay. Maybe. I would like to see a picture, but that's coming from the Daily News. I don't know how.
But you know what? It was funny that she brought that up about Flight 93. Now, at that time, there was a lot of people that lived in houses over there, and they experienced a lot of paranormal activity with the ghost of the people um, that died in that crash. And all of a sudden, we were set to go there to do an investigation in Shanksville, but they shut it down real quick.
What happened? Why would they shut? What you were
They
there
shut
for?
us down. They shut us down. In Shanksville, we were supposed to go investigate where Flight 93 went down.
Oh, you were going to actually go there. They would
Yeah,
never let you do that.
then they said no, you can't do it. But there was another plane crash over in Beaver. I think it was in Beaver, or over near the Giant Eagle. There's a lot of people that I know that in the back of Giant Eagle, they experience a lot of paranormal activity. They see a lot of ghosts over there, and there was a major plane accident that happened over in that area. I don't know if it was Beaver, but
Oh yeah, there was a big era. I know that was in the 90s. I remember that there was a big plane crash I believe like 259 people died.
And they're still experiencing seeing ghosts behind the giant eagle.
Oh, I believe it.
Hmm.
Okay, I see an article, but this is on Channel 4 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ex-FBI employee claims he saw angels at Flight 93. A former police officer who retired from the FBI due to post-traumatic stress disorder linked to her role in the aftermath of September 11th terror attack has written a book about seeing legions of angels guarding the Pennsylvania site where it was hijacked. Oh,
It's
there you go. Is that what
possible.
she's talking? That's what she's talking about.
I believe it will. I believe she is. But it's possible, is it not? How about those things you see on YouTube where there's a major crash and all of a sudden the person dies and you see its spirit going into heaven? Yeah, that's what Doreen said. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
she's
she said
talking
she
about.
saw a vision of angels. She argues that her life had been changed more than because of what she saw that day. The biggest thing for me is that there were no bodies. Leonardo said, well, of course they're not going to be. There wouldn't be no bodies if it blew up in the air.
No, they blew up in the ground.
Yeah, they would not see no
They
bodies.
crashed and then they got killed.
Yeah, there would not be no the beaver one. There was body parts everywhere. She saw light shimmering, and it was kind of a misty, and that's when I first saw like the angels there. And I didn't say anything to the guys because you can imagine if I would have said, I just saw angels on the crash site, they'd have called the office and they had said she's lost her mind and tell her to go home. Instead, Leonardi kept to herself for the better part of 2 years. Emotional and physical ailments surfaced that she would later learn were post-traumatic stress disorders. She began telling a close circle of friends and colleagues what she saw. A year later, she became a special agent in the charge of the FBI's Pittsburgh field office, making her Leonardi's boss until whatever. I'd like to get this book. So she said what she saw were shimmering like figures. Or maybe they weren't angels, but maybe the ghosts or spirits of the people who died there.
That's very possible too.
She says, I have no reason to believe that she did not see angels. This is one of her bosses. I think it's not surprising to me that God could choose to say that he was present there to give comfort to people and give comfort to the people who were there to give comfort to other people.
Now
The purpose of the book is to tell the story of angels being there so that other people understand that God was there, said Leonardo. She was raised Catholic. What's the name of the book? I'm trying to find the name of the books, but I don't see the name of the book.
I wonder if Sue would happen to come on the show and we can talk about it. That's interesting. Thanks for bringing that up.
I'm trying to find the name of the book though.
I don't know.
I said one of her books.
Personally, angels are real.
Oh, I believe they were. Oh, the book is called In the Shadow of a Badge, a spiritual memoir. Huh.
I'm really looking forward to next week to listen to Tom and see, get his point of view on, like everybody today, if you saw Jenny posting that we're supposed to have Tom Reed come on, and at the last minute he had some situations where he couldn't come on, but he's definitely coming on next week. And if you want to read up on Tom Reed, he has some pretty interesting things. Netflix. You want to tell our viewers about this show on Netflix?
Yeah,
Unsolved Mysteries.
It was on Unsolved Mysteries, and go to the Berkshire UFO incident, and you can watch it. It's pretty interesting stuff. I thought it was.
I did too.
I found him because he's at a conference now. There's a big UFO conference in Roswell, New Mexico, with all the big wigs in the UFO, like Mike Barra, Connie Stevens. There's a whole bunch of them. I had a whole bunch of them listed. You can probably go on the UFO. He has his own website. I will tell you in a second what it's called. You can go check him out. I find him to be very interesting.
I do too. I mean, I think I was really looking forward. I'm just going to have
Yeah,
to
I
do
was
some more
looking forward
research on it.
yeah, we could do some more research on him. And he also, and you can go to the Berkshire allthat'sinteresting.com and read up on it too. But his trying to get there. Trying to get his the name of the where is it? I have so many things open here.
Does anybody have any questions out there? Oh, while we're at it, my show, Into the Night with Sean Kelly, comes on 10 p.m. on this station, UPRN Radio 105.3 and 107.7 New Orleans. So we always talk about, what we think about aliens and what they do and what they're up to. My show is going to be, what do the aliens think of us?
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Seriously. So I'm kind of like putting it into a book form too, a little story.
Good.
It's not just going to be tonight. I'm going to go in chapters, so people can come back and find out some more. But that happened today at work. I was sitting there and I'm thinking, oh, we got UFOs, we got aliens. Everyone's talking about it. And poof, I got this light bulb go off in my head and it said, well, what do you think the aliens think of us?
They took off and they don't want to be seen with us.
See, Doreen says they are probably thinking WTF.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, they don't want to make themselves known to us, and if they only come to certain people, like what makes those people so special? I don't know. But getting back to Tom Reed, his website is called ufopark.org, and you can find all kinds of stuff about the incidents of, inducted into history, all kind of UFOs that were inducted into the history books. And there's some really interesting stuff that he got from Massachusetts, that he has certificates from them. He's donated money to them. I think it's a really cool website. They have all kind of pictures on here and you can learn more about it. So it's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out and see what's up with it. But it's getting pretty close to the witching hour there.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah, it's called right now the UFO Festival is UFO XPO. And I think he's probably he's the founder of it. So that's pretty interesting stuff. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. We are thanking you for joining us tonight.
Yes,
it's always
thank
good
you,
to
everybody.
see you guys in the chat, even you, Mark. So I'm glad. If you have any ideas for shows, please drop us a line at chasingprophecyradio@gmail.com. chasingprophecyradio@gmail.com, and let us know what you want to talk about.
Yeah, please do. And I want again, thank you very much for coming on and listening to our show.
And if you think you would be a great guest for our show, also drop us a line at chasingprophecyradio@gmail.com. Okay.
Hey, Matt, sorry you're late. We're closing up, but my show starts at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin says enough.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Kevin Daugherty says another great edition. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right,
And
Matt,
don't forget,
show.
we are on UPRN Radio. Make sure you share us. Share the link. It always helps us. And remember, what's the sayings? If you see an alien, don't chase it. So, maybe you should chase it. I don't know. It could be fun. What do you think?
Chase it.
I'm trying to find the ending, but it should be fun.